Who am I is a very deep question, deeper than we think. Many struggle to answer that question, and some might spend their whole lives without arriving at an answer. Not knowing one's identity can create a whole lot of complications and unanswered questions like, where do I belong? What must I do with my life? Where do I come from and where am I going? Answers to these questions automatically fall into place when we find the answer to the question, who am I? The Bible shows us that when we recognize who Jesus really is, then He helps us to understand who we really are. Matthew chapter 16 verses 13 onwards says, Now when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, He asked His disciples, Who do people say that the Son of Man is? And they said, Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. He said to them, But who do you say that I am? Simon Peter replied, You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered him, Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Jesus asked them two questions. Firstly, who do people say that I am? The answers he got were people's opinions. Many different opinions, and all of them were wrong. Our concept of God cannot be based upon people's opinions. It must be based upon His Word. The second question he asked them was, Who do you say that I am? Peter said, You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Peter recognized and acknowledged Jesus as the true and living God. Jesus immediately spoke into Peter's life saying, Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah. When we recognize who Jesus really is, blessing is released upon our lives and we instantly step into God's favor. Then Jesus said, Flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven, meaning this insight and understanding has not come about by people's opinions, but by God's initiative. And that tells us that God is always willing to give us a clear understanding of who He really is. Then Jesus said, And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. Jesus started off by addressing him as Simon, but ended up by calling him Peter. Simon means reed, but Peter means rock or stone. A reed is a weak, flimsy, feeble, shakeable, breakable, undependable, unreliable, and an easily destructible thing. A rock, on the other hand, is sturdy, strong, reliable, dependable, unshakable, immovable, and makes a great foundation. Jesus was saying to him, You are no longer a reed, you are a rock. You are no longer someone who is weak, shakeable, and unreliable. You are somebody who is strong, dependable, and an inspiration to people. When Peter recognized who Jesus really was, Jesus helped him to recognize his own identity, that he was not a weak person who would be denying Christ, but a man of strength who would be standing up for Christ and His kingdom, and that's exactly the kind of person that Peter eventually became. So if there's anyone who feels that his life is without conviction, strength, and purpose, I invite you to recognize Jesus for who He really is. Jesus really is the Most High God, name above all names, the one who created us, the one who saved us from our sin, the one who alone is worthy of all glory and honor and praise. If you recognize and acknowledge who Jesus really is, He will empower you to understand who you really are. That in Christ Jesus, you are a person of strength, created to live for the glory of His name.